Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Midweek Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We're streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, also at BitChute, as well as Facebook Live. We're also on the audio streams as well, iTunes and Spotify. After the program, we'll upload onto the audio streams. If you subscribe to us on any of those platforms, we'll be there in full stereo and Dolby sound, depending on your sound system. Thank you very much again for joining us. And we've got a very important discussion today. And what we're going to be talking about is the potential upheaval that is currently brewing in the Levant. And specifically, we're going to talk about Lebanon. And I know there's a lot of talk right now about the Trump-Putin summit. It's coming up on Friday. Of course, we've commented on that earlier today on the UK Column News, and we'll also do probably an emergency broadcast on that very topic tomorrow. So we may have two midweek wires this week. We'll give you further updates on that. So that's brewing. But the situation in the Middle East is tenuous, okay? It's tenuous, potentially very dangerous. And with the current instability of the U.S. administration and the people running it, and the fact that really Israel's running U.S. Middle East policy at the moment, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned right now, a lot of reasons to be worried. So what we're talking about is the threat of a civil war. And as you know, the last war in Lebanon, the last long civil war, wasn't civil at all. And it was really engineered by external powers, namely the United States and Israel. Let's just start with that point there. And let me welcome onto the program our guest. He's an analyst based in the Levant. Ibrahim Majed is joining us right now on the live link. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us on the Midweek Wire. There we are. Yeah, thank you, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
Ibrahim, on the current situation right now, I want to give you the floor just to open up the conversation and explain to our audience why it's so critical now. We're at a very, very important juncture. We'll discuss some of the reasons behind that, obviously give a little more information in a few minutes. But the fact that there is this hard push from some of the biggest powers in the world right now, regionally and globally, to disarm Hezbollah, is that the source of the current crisis that we're looking at? If so, how bad could this get if it continues on the current trajectory? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Patrick. Basically, for the past approximately 6 months to 7 months, the Americans and the Lebanese government, part of the Lebanese government, have been trying to disarm the resistance. They have been pressuring through many several ways. At the end, Tom Barak brought a paper to the government, and he told the government he will agree to this. There was a Saudi pressure and an American pressure for the government to accept this paper and actually approve on every single point in it. And what's funny in this paper is that if Israel breaches the agreement, Israel will just be uh, condemned in the United Nations. They will just tell Israel, do not do this again. But if Lebanon breaches the paper, there will be economical sanctions and there might be attacks on Lebanon. Patrick, honestly, my point of view is this. I don't think that the Americans and the Israelis are naive to believe that they can disarm the resistance. If they could disarm the resistance for 66 days, why didn't they do it? They couldn't even enter Lebanon. I think the Americans and the Israelis have three options. Option number one is for them to enter a war in Lebanon. And this war is not guaranteed for them because the rhetoric they have been saying for the past 8 months is that we destroyed Hezbollah, we destroyed the resistance, they cannot threaten us anymore. Israel has destroyed 80% of Hezbollah's capabilities. Some say 70, some say 80. This option is not guaranteed for the Israelis for another reason, under which pretext they want to enter the war. There is only one: disarmament of the resistance. And they know very well that they cannot do that. So basically, if they want to put a goal and not achieve it, and missiles reach Haifa and Tel Aviv again, everything that they have been working on for the past 8 months is basically gone, and they cannot do anything about it. So this is the first option. The second option is to create a civil war in Lebanon, and not only a civil war. I believe the goal is not the disarmament of the resistance, Patrick. I think the goal is to dismantle the Lebanese army. They want to put the Shia sect out of the picture in Lebanon politically, out of the picture in the army, out of the picture in the the people they place in power inside of Lebanon, from the army to the judges to everything that has to do with the institutions. They want to put them out of the picture. Uh, if this happens, that the army goes ahead and tries to disarm the resistance, approximately 35% of the army is Shia. And this will basically result in the division of the army. And this will give the Julani the best pretext to enter Lebanon, saying that he wants to protect certain groups in Lebanon. This is one reason. And it will also create a problem between the Lebanese, because then the Lebanese will start to have a civil conflict like in 1975. This is the second option. The third option is to negotiate. Negotiate, what I mean by negotiate is this, and I'm going to speak the options of the resistance as well. Negotiate is Hezbollah agreed, and Sheikh Naim Qasim said it in his latest speech. He said, we are ready to be a defensive force in Lebanon and work under the government decision and the army decision. They can negotiate what kind of weapons that not allowed. There are certain weapons that are stored in certain places in Lebanon. The Americans know about them. The Israelis know about them. They couldn't destroy them because they are stored inside of mountains. So they can discuss with the resistance, because basically this is a burden on the resistance now, because these weapons, they cannot use them in war, because the Israeli drone is above that certain location all the time. So any resistant fighter who's trying to get near that place, which they bomb the entrance and the exit of it, is getting in danger for an Israeli strike. So basically there is negotiation. I think, Patrick, I hope that they go for the negotiations. I think the Israelis will go to option number two, which is create civil unrest in Lebanon. But this is very dangerous on everyone, and it can backfire on the Israeli in any day, any second. Because who said that the resistance is going to accept to fight internally and not open a front for the Israelis, for example? And who said that inside of Lebanon you can win over the resistance? So you're basically telling the people of Lebanon, the Lebanese government is telling the people of Lebanon, we want you to die for the Israelis. We want you to do what the Israeli couldn't do. And this is something very dangerous, because the Lebanese government, Patrick, is talking about sovereignty and is talking about having the decision of the Lebanese government all over Lebanon, and only the Lebanese army that has to have weapons. When the Americans bring a paper and they tell them sign it, accept it. When the Saudis come and pressure, telling them, we will not give you money to rebuild Lebanon if you don't disarm Hezbollah. We will not invest in Lebanon if you do not disarm Hezbollah. At the same time, threatening with Al-Jolani and his Takfiri fighters. The situation today in Lebanon is very complicated. Things are not very clear. At the end of the month, when we see what the army decides to do, then the picture will be more clear in Lebanon, and we will know where we are going. If the government continues with this decision and the army actually does what the government want them to do, then Lebanon is going to a very, very, very dark place.
So I have to ask you the question, Ibrahim, is that for those who are not familiar with the state of Lebanese politics and the government, with your current prime minister and president, who are, relatively new. I know you didn't have a government for a while, a functioning government, but how independent is the army and people within that institution traditionally in relation to the president's office, the prime minister's office? Because I know that right now, central government's very politicized, and it is being leaned on heavily by the United States in Western interests. That's a fact. So how independent is the Lebanese army as an institution? How much, their idea of patriotism, what are their values? Can you tell us what that is like?
Okay. First of all, the Lebanese army, as individuals, they have a great doctrine. They are against Israel, and they want to protect Lebanon. They do want to protect Lebanon, and in this case, everybody is behind the Lebanese army. If the Lebanese army is equipped well enough to face the Israeli and is not being stopped and sanctioned by the Americans from buying weapons, because the Russians came and offered, the Iranians came and offered, many countries came and offered weapons. The Americans do not allow the Lebanese army to have weapons that can face the Israelis. Even the weapons that they are taking from the southern Litani River, they are being destroyed and not kept with the Lebanese army. Tom Barak said from the presidential palace, he said the Lebanese army should be an internal force to create stability inside of Lebanon. So what he is saying, you cannot protect yourself against Israel. You cannot protect yourself against any attack on Lebanon. You're just an internal force. Now, how is the Lebanese army formed? Like everything in Lebanon, Patrick, Lebanon is a sectarian country. And these sectarian groups, or parties, they are represented in the parliament. If not only in the parliament, in the government, and also not only in the government, in the army, in every single institution inside of Lebanon. They are represented. They choose their representatives in these institutions. So basically, the Lebanese army is very well connected to the political scene in Lebanon that is controlled by the Americans. Even today, the Lebanese army's salary is being paid by the Americans. I think 4 years ago, Patrick, there was an incident on the borders. One Lebanese soldier, he fired a shot at the Israeli soldier or Israeli tank. The Americans came to do an investigation to see if this bullet is an American bullet. Can you imagine the sovereignty in Lebanon? They came and did an investigation to see if the bullet is an American bullet. No, the Lebanese army is well influenced by the politicians in Lebanon, the generals and the people in the decision makers inside of Lebanon have a very strong connection inside, or influence, let me be specific, influence inside the Lebanese army. Plus, the chief of staff, the current president, Joseph Aoun, was the chief of staff in the army. So he knows how the army is based, is established, and how it's from inside the army. So no, if the government gives a decision in Lebanon, the army will continue. My opinion will do it. Just want to say one more story. In 2011, Al Jolani and his Takfiri groups, they kidnapped Lebanese soldiers. The Lebanese army knew where the soldiers were, but the government back then was in the hand of the people who are now against the resistance and who were back then against the resistance. They didn't give the order for the Lebanese army to go get back the soldiers. These soldiers were beheaded and killed. So basically, this is Patrick, what's funny is they talk about sovereignty. They talk about sovereignty. They talk about Iranian interference inside of Lebanon. I cannot believe that some of the Lebanese are so naive. I don't think they are naive. I think they just hold hate and grudge in their heart. There is no other explanation, to be honest with you. Uh, I mean, the Saudis, they come to Lebanon and appoint a prime minister. Saudi Arabia kidnapped the Lebanese prime minister and forced him to resign from Saudi Arabia. And they want to come and talk to us about sovereignty. The resistance is the sovereignty in Lebanon. And the resistance is the one who has been protecting Lebanon over the past at least 30 years, from 1990 until today. They are the ones who is protecting Lebanon from Israeli aggression, and they are the one who protected Lebanon against the terrorist takfiris who were bombing everyone in Lebanon. Everyone, and was killing from everyone in Lebanon. And if they come to Lebanon again and some way, by some bad miracle, bad omen or bad miracle, they enter Lebanon, they are not going to differentiate between the Lebanese. Whether you are Sunni, Shia, Christian, they are not going to differentiate, and they are going to kill everybody, and they are going to take people as hostages and force them to be slaves. Today, Lebanon is in real danger. I don't know how a government with it's unbelievable. Imagine you have a genocidal state on your southern border, and you have a Takfiri group on your northern border, and you have a Takfiri group on your eastern border, and the government is telling you, give me the only thing that can save you, that can protect you, your only card that can push back and fight these groups, and the government is asking you to give it up. This is not stupidity anymore. They are part of the project. They are in bed with the Americans and the Israelis and the Takfiri groups.
Yeah, I think if anybody learned the lesson of what it looks like to have disarmed parts of your population, look at what's happened in Syria over the last 7-8 months. It's ugly, and you should expect nothing less in Lebanon if they tried to disarm South Lebanon.
Patrick, the funny thing is this: some Lebanese come and say that okay, but the Americans gave us guarantees that they will protect us. Tom Barak said it from the presidential palace. We cannot give you guarantees over the Israelis, and he will say the same over Al Julani. The Americans, the American envoy to Lebanon said, I cannot give you guarantees. Some Lebanese politicians say, we can give you guarantees. You know, the head of the opposition of Hezbollah, Samir Jaja, in his latest interview, he said, in my experience, and I'm quoting him, he said, in my experience, if Hezbollah gives up their weapons, there's a 75% to 80% chance the Israelis will leave Lebanon. What do I do with the other 25%? Where do I get it from? The other 25%. They cannot hide their compliance with the Israelis and the American anymore. It's very clear.
You know what? This is just like a repeat of, well, in a certain way, of the last so-called civil war in Lebanon. But instead of the PLO, it's now Hezbollah, and Israel will not hold back. Everyone should be clear what they've seen and witnessed in Gaza and in South Lebanon and Dahia already in South Beirut. That's just a warm-up of what Israel's capable of. If they could just say Hezbollah is there, Hezbollah is there, that village, that city block, that building, and just start crushing areas. That's what will happen.
They killed a journalist the other day, and they just came out with a statement and said, he is Hamas, khalas, it's done. Israel doesn't need a pretext. Nobody is giving Israel a pretext. Israel occupied Syria without a pretext. Israel is genociding Gaza without a pretext, because Gaza was surrounded for 17 years. Israel is occupying 6 points today in Lebanon. Actually, it's 9, but let's say 6. 6 points in Lebanon without pretext. Israel never looked for a pretext to do anything. Their mentality is an expansion mentality. They want to. Netanyahu said it. Yesterday he said, I am on a mission for greater Israel. And then some Arabs and some Lebanese come and tell us, no, they don't want. The Israelis do not want anything from. They are very peaceful people. They are. Sometimes I wonder if we are the bad people, Patrick. It's like the Israeli is so good and we are the bad ones.
Well, there you are. Netanyahu says August 12th, 2025. He's on a historic and spiritual mission. So obviously this is a religious mission here. Sounds a lot like ISIS to me. Feels a connection to a vision of greater Israel. So this is the Odiyinon plan manifesting itself as a mainstream idea, but we were called conspiracy theorists for even talking about this before this week. Not anymore. Cat's out of the bag now. That's the agenda. And it's an agenda they're prepared to see out over the next 50 years, if required.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ibrahim.
No. You see, Patrick, the greater Israel is not something new. From the establishment of the entity, they have been talking about this. So this is not something that is new to us, especially the people who have been in this region. You know, journalists like yourself and other journalists who have been in this region understand very well that this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a fact that they are working on, and they have been working on for years and years and years. And this is something that they want to establish not only for religious reasons, for economical reasons and for military reasons and for political reasons, and basically it's world domination. It's world. Everything that is happening today, the Zangzur corridor is going to be linked to the David's corridor. They are linked together. It's not something that is, you know, two different things happening around the world. No, at all. Everything is connected today. And the Americans and the Israelis to balance, the Americans to balance the economical scale with China, they need to do these two corridors so that their trading routes and their energy routes are passed through these corridors to the entity, and from the entity they will go to Europe or they wherever they want to go. The whole point is this: everything is connected. The Arabs, I don't know if they do know or they do not know what's going on. I hope, you know, if they know, it's a problem, and if they don't know, it's a bigger problem. If they know and they are silent, this is a big problem, because how can you be silent to somebody stealing your resources and somebody telling you what to do and somebody basically enslaving you? But if they don't know, it's the bigger problem, because this means that they have no idea how the world works. They have no idea what they are doing. They have no idea how the Americans are functioning and the Israelis are functioning, and threat will knock on their door. And once this threat knocks on their door, Patrick, they will not be ready. They will not be ready for it. I mean, right now, if we want to start right now, it's going to take a lot of work. Imagine how it's going to be when they wake up in 10, 15, 20 years.
No chance.
Yeah.
To be honest, not a good prospect. Ibrahim, tell us now the role of the Gulf. Okay, there's been a lot of energy from Saudi Arabia for this disarming of Hezbollah agenda. Explain to us what is the Saudi disagreement with Hezbollah? Where does this come from, and how big of a factor is this, the Gulf injecting itself into Lebanon in this situation? Go ahead.
Okay. So the Gulf have always had influence. I'm going to be more specific. Saudi Arabia has always had influence on Lebanon. Always. They influenced politicians. They influence people in the army, people in the security staff, people, judges, etc. Today, I mean, before we talk about today, Patrick, let's go back. Isn't it weird that every single person who fought Israel, the Saudis have fought them? Jamal Abdel Nasser, Iran. When Saddam Hussein fired rockets on the entity, they were against him. Hezbollah today. And then they come and tell us they have been supporting Palestine. The truth is, they never supported Palestine. Never. They are part of the Israeli project. They are part, and they have interest in the Israeli project. They are working with them. Today, the Israeli could not disarm Hezbollah, regardless of the hard blows that Hezbollah took in the war. The Saudi is coming to do the job for them on the ground here, by pushing the Lebanese government into doing this, by pressuring economically the Lebanese government to do this, and not only pressuring economically from a security point of view regarding Syria. Economically as well, they can push Al-Julani to close the borders between Lebanon and Syria, and this will damage Lebanon economically as well a lot. The Saudis have always wanted to disarm Hezbollah. This is not new. This is not something new. In 2006, they called them crazy. They called it a crazy adventure. They called what Hezbollah did is as a crazy adventure. In the Syrian war, and we look now, everything is becoming clear, Patrick, to everyone, because look at what happened in the Syrian war. Okay, now it's not a Syrian civil war; it's a Syrian war on the resistance, on the whole resistance, and it's not only on President Assad. Uh, Look what happened today. Everyone who said that they are only against Assad, they are doing worse than what they claimed Assad was doing. This is the first thing. Second thing, they are pushing every Israeli interest. Like before they were in power, they used to say, "We want to fight Israel and we want to liberate Jerusalem and we want to." Today they come and say, "We have common enemies with the Israelis." I don't know how people are not seeing this very clearly, or maybe they don't want to see it, or maybe they want to be slaves. I don't know, because if they think that the Israelis is gonna make them partners, or the Americans is gonna make them partners with them, then they are delusional. The Israelis and the Americans do not have partners; they have slaves. You do this, and it's done. There is only one boss. There is not. You cannot be a boss with me. You cannot take decisions with me. I choose my interest above everything.
Yeah, and if you do what you're told, we'll loan you money. We'll give you some loans, and that's about as good as you're going to get. And you got to buy our products. You got to buy our products. You go to.
They give you loans. They give you loans to control you more, and they give you loans to influence the political scene inside of Lebanon more. And what's funny is they have done this before. Look where we are today. From the we cannot take our money from the banks. We cannot do anything. We are living extreme economical crisis because we took loans from them back then, and we took loans, and they were. Actually, we didn't take loans from the Saudis. I believe the Saudis actually didn't give Lebanon money. They gave their proxies in Lebanon money, in a way that they said that they gave the government. They had money inside the Lebanese banks, and this money in the bank, they were taking 11 and 12% interest rate on them. So who was giving who money? Who stole the money? This is where and before 2019, in 2019 at the beginning of the year, they decided to take their money out, and then the economical crisis started. Patrick, the Saudis are in bed with the Israelis. The Saudis are doing what the Israeli couldn't do for 66 days, but they're gonna fail as well. Nobody is gonna be able to take the weapons of the resistance. Not the Saudis, not the Israelis, not the Americans, and definitely not a governmental decree by saying that give up your weapons. The resistance is gonna come and say, okay, we are sorry, come take these weapons. They are putting the Lebanese people at risk. They are putting the Lebanese people at risk of not only the Israelis, also Takfiri groups. The Lebanese people will not accept to be enslaved by anyone, not the Israelis and not the Takfiri groups, and we will not be killed by them and give up our weapons for them to come. And tomorrow, if Hezbollah gives up their weapons, okay, they will come. We want this person in jail and that person in jail. We want this person executed and that person executed. We want a certain sect out of the southern part of Lebanon. We want this and we want that. And they will not stop. They will not stop. They will not stop. So the whole point is this: even if Hezbollah gives up their weapons, and this is impossible, I'm just putting a scenario for us to talk about. Even if Hezbollah gives up their weapons, the people of Lebanon will create another resistance. In 1982, there was no Hezbollah. and the people resisted. Before 1982, there was no Hezbollah, and the people resisted. And today there is Hezbollah, and people will resist. And tomorrow Hezbollah is remaining, and maybe other factions will join to resist with Hezbollah. If not, the people will resist next to Hezbollah, because the people of Lebanon will not be, will the Southerners and the people of Lebanon will not accept to be slaughtered. They are telling us you will either live like sheep or be slaughtered like sheep, and we will not accept both.
So here is the eminent Gri from the White House. His name's Tom Barak. He's supposedly of Lebanese origin. That's the rumor. What is he doing to his country of his forefathers right now? He seems to be trying to create an impossible choice, Ibrahim, that the Lebanese people need to choose between disarming Hezbollah or face a bloody civil war, or that will include Israel, of course, and maybe Syria. Is that the choice that he's implicitly pushing on Lebanon to get them to somehow comply? What do you think?
I think Tom Barak is telling the Lebanese people, choose your poison. Decide which poison you want to take, this or that. Tom Barak and the Americans, Tom Barak and the Israelis, Tom Barak and the Saudis, he said it imagine an envoy comes to Lebanon and say, we want you to be part of Syria. Nobody spoke anything. Nobody from these so-called politicians who are screaming sovereignty day and night said a word. Nobody dares to say a word from them. Nobody dares to tell the Americans and the Saudis no. They can tell Ali Larijani, who came today to Lebanon, we don't want you. Imagine the president today told Ali Larijani, we do not accept any interference inside of Lebanon. What is the American doing? What are the Saudis doing? Look, what is everybody doing in Lebanon? Not only the Americans and the Saudis. There is nobody not interfering in Lebanon. Everybody is interfering in Lebanon. The Saudis, the Syrians, the Turks, the Israelis, the Americans, everybody's interfering in Lebanon. And only when Iran says a sentence like we support the Lebanese people or we support the Lebanese resistance, the whole world goes crazy. Iran is occupying Lebanon. Iran wants to Iran is not allowed to, do you know that the Lebanese airport is not allowed to accept any Iranian flights to Lebanon? Do you know? The Americans and the Saudis told them you will not accept Iranian flights to Lebanon, and they stopped it, the government. Imagine our prime minister sitting in the cabinet meeting and in a very silly, naive, clownish way says, "Ding, ding, ding! It's time for truth." Regarding when they were taking a decision about Hezbollah, one of the ministers told him, "But Mr. Prime Minister, there's an Israeli jet right now above us." He told a prime minister said, "Okay, shoot it down if you can." This is our prime minister. But Patrick, personally, I'm not worried. In 1982, they did the same. The resistance was weaker, and they couldn't achieve what they were trying to do. Today, the resistance is much stronger, and the people are willing to sacrifice. This is very important for everybody to understand. The people, imagine, like the people are telling the resistance, you will be traitors if you give up the weapons. The people are telling the resistance, if you give up the weapons, you are trading the blood of our sons, of our fathers, of our mothers, of our sisters, of everyone. You are betraying the blood of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. Definitely the resistance will not give up their weapons. I'm just saying that the people are ready to sacrifice, and the people are ready to give up everything to live free and sovereign and not allow any interference. I agree. If the Iranians are interfering in Lebanon, I am against any interference in Lebanon. But you cannot come and say to the Iranians, do not interfere in Lebanon, when they didn't interfere in Lebanon. They just gave an opinion. And the Americans get you a paper. You go to You go to the cabinet meeting and you say it took them 2 minutes. They didn't discuss it. Once the ministers of Hezbollah and Amal left the cabinet meeting, after 2 minutes the meeting was over. They didn't even discuss it, Patrick. They said yes, okay, whatever the Americans want. Do not come and talk to us about sovereignty when you are basically slaves for the Americans and the Saudis.
And let's just remind people that Lebanon has been prohibited by the U.S. from having any air defense and any air force and any planes. There's only 2 MiGs, one of which doesn't work, which was donated to them by the Russians many years ago. And there's a few twin prop planes that for training. That's it. There's nothing. They're not allowed to have an air force. They're not allowed to have anti-aircraft or anything to protect their airspace. So Israel has full total control over Lebanese airspace. And that's the way the U.S. wants it. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
If it's only the airspace, we agree. I wish it was only the air superiority. Then we will agree with them. We are not allowed to have ground defense systems. You're not allowed to have cornets. You are not allowed to have missiles. You are not allowed to have any advanced military. Nothing. The army, they want it as a police. I think the police in New York has better equipment than our army, with all due respect and
Definitely.
love to
They
the
definitely
Lebanese
do.
army.
Yeah.
With all due respect and love, and I don't want to. We are not here to attack the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army are our brothers and sisters, and the 6 Lebanese soldiers who got martyred on Sunday while they were in a Hezbollah institute, taking out the weapons. The family of these martyrs raised Hezbollah flags in the funeral. I want everybody, this is a message. This is a very important message to the government, because this is the Lebanese telling the government, we do not accept for the army to face the resistance, because one brother can be in the army and the other one in the resistance. One cousin can be in the army and the other one in the resistance. One friend can be in the army and the other one in the resistance. The Lebanese people will not accept for the Lebanese army to clash with the resistance. On the contrary, the resistance and the army have always had each other's back, and I hope and I pray always that they will always have each other's back, because it's unbelievable the amount of control the West has in the Lebanese army. Patrick, the weapons they are taking from from Hezbollah, from the resistance, they are destroying it. They are not allowed to keep it. They are not allowed. If you want to protect Lebanon, take it, keep it. Sheikh Naim Qasim gave them a pass the other day and told them, we are ready to fight under the Lebanese government. Tell this to the Americans. Will they dare to tell this to Lebanon is not allowed to defend itself, because the Israeli wants, if Hezbollah, what's the time now? 5:36. If Hezbollah give up their weapons right now at 10 p.m., Israel will be in Beirut. Tonight.
Mm.
Tonight. It's unbelievable. They think people are stupid. People are not stupid, and people will not agree with this government that is going to be remembered as one of the worst governments in the history of Lebanon. There is, I can't remember a government this bad. I can't remember a government this bad. May he rest in peace. Martin Rafiq al-Hariri once told Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, if you want to give up your weapons, I will not agree. What kind of nonsense it's a jungle. We are living in they are living in a place that is, I am lost for words. I cannot find the word what they have in their mind. How can you give up your weapons when there is not one, two threats on your borders? Two. Actually three threats, because there are sleeper cells inside of Lebanon. There are sleeper cells for the Israelis and for the Takfiri groups inside of Lebanon. How can anyone ask the resistance to give up their weapons? This is something beyond me to understand, Patrick, to be honest with you.
That's a powerful statement by the late Rafiq Hariri, certainly. Now, Ibrahim, if the United States and Israel have their wicked way, and we hope that they're not, but if they do, this is the regional map of Lebanon. And clearly what the U.S. will want to do is obviously be protected by you mentioned Jaja before, the Lebanese forces, the Marionite area north of Beirut there, where the U.S. Embassy is located, strategically located, I might add. The Americans believe that if that's the fallback plan, which is a civil war in Lebanon, that they will be protected. And they'll have Israel coming from the south, as you can see, into Nabatea and the southern regions again. And then Syria entering north via Tripoli. And from the American and Israeli point of view, this is a potential, good strategy for them. What problems might they run into if they decide to take this direction? Go ahead.
Okay. If you look at the map, Patrick, the northern part is basically most Sunni and Christians. The eastern part is basically Christians and Shia. The southern part is mostly Shia. And in the middle, this green part to yellow part is a mix of Sunni, Shia, and Christians. How are they going to differentiate these terrorist groups? Are they going to differentiate between the people? Are they going to kill the kill the Shia and leave the Sunni? Or are they going to kill the Christian and leave the Shia? This is something very complicated. If they want to enter to the Shia village, they have to go through the Christian villages first. And for sure, the Lebanese Christians, there's a large number of them that will not accept this. So does the Sunnis. There's a large number of them that will not accept any foreign interference inside of Lebanon. We are a sovereign state and we will act as a sovereign state. Now, some Lebanese, yes, they will accept this and they will accept these groups to enter, but they are not the majority of the Lebanese. Even though they have a loud voice, like once a Lebanese analyst gave a very nice picture of them. Like he said, they are a bicycle with a truck horn on it. They are basically a bicycle, but they have a truck. This is how they are. They are a small minority, but they scream a lot. They scream really a lot. The thing is this: is Al-Julani going to be able to enter Lebanon through the east? This is one thing. If he enters through the north, he has to go through all the Christian area to reach the Shia area where he said he wants to fight Hezbollah. This is another problem. The third problem, the Israeli has a problem in entering Lebanon. Now, the Institute of National Security said the other day, are we going back to the swamp? They called it a swamp. Because if they were able to enter, let's say they entered, are they able to fix points? If they fix points, are they going to able to protect these points? They know what happened in 1982 to 2000. It will happen again in a worse way, in a much tougher way, and they will have much more casualties. That's why today the Israelis are trying to push the Lebanese government to do it. They want somebody else to do it. They want somebody else to do the job for them. At the end of the day, Patrick, it all depends on what the Lebanese army decides at the end of the month, on what the Lebanese army chooses to do at the end of the month. Are they going to choose to listen to Nawaf Salam and the President Joseph Aoun, or are they going to choose not to face the resistance? This is the million-dollar question that we will know at the end of this month.
What's most worrying about this, Ibrahim, is we've seen the resources that the Gulf financially and that the West in different forms are willing to apply, as they did in Syria, to break down the intelligence and the military structures to the point of collapse. And that took a long time. As we know, Syria is it's a very tough nut to crack with the Ba'athist system that they had for so long, and it's very rigid and very tight. In Lebanon, different institutions, but the money and the pressure could be applied to the Lebanese military. Would they benefit? Would the U.S. and Israel benefit from the fracturing and the breaking up of the Lebanese army? Would that be their goal for destabilizing Lebanon? Do you think that's a strategy?
I think the US doesn't want Lebanon anymore to exist as it is today. It wants to give parts of it to Syria and the southern part to Israel. And one way to do that is dismantling the army. Now, the question here is this, Patrick. Those 35% trained Lebanese soldiers, who are they going to fight with? Well, those 35% Shia, who are they going to fight with? And some Sunnis are with the resistance. Some Christians are with the resistance. Who are they going to fight with? This is another question. Do they have the answer to that? Nobody has the answer to that. The thing is this, Patrick. This is a very dangerous game they are playing that can backfire on them. If they want to continue with it, it's going to be a game that is going to backfire on them at the long run. I hope and I believe that the resistance is ready for every scenario. I think they have been preparing themselves for every scenario. And at the end of the day, the Lebanese people throughout history, and this is before Hezbollah was created in hundreds of years, they have been resisting occupiers. Patrick, to be honest with you, I can't remember the last time this area, the Levant, was not occupied. To be honest with you, maybe 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Let's go back. Every occupation that was here. The people will continue to resist, Patrick, whether they want to go into a civil war or they want to negotiate at the end of the day. The Lebanese government, I mean, they want to negotiate with the resistance and put a strategy for Lebanon to protect Lebanon. Nobody wants to attack anyone. We want to protect our sovereignty. We want to protect our people. This is what the resistance is saying. We want to protect the people as long as they don't put a strategy for Lebanon, a strategy that has to do with the resistance and the army to protect the Lebanese people. Nobody is going to take the weapons of the resistance. Nobody.
Ibrahim Majed, a geopolitical analyst and journalist based in Beirut, Lebanon. Thank you for joining us this week on the Midweek Wire.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much for having me.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Important conversation. Obviously, this is just beginning this situation, but we'll do our best to keep you abreast of developments in this and other areas. Do visit 21stcenturywire.com, and you'll see as well a lot of important reports up right now as we speak this week, and also the Sunday Wire archives, which you can access as well via 21st Century Wire. I'm hosting the Sunday Wire every week from 12 till 3 Eastern, 5 till 8 UK. We may be off this week because we're at the Beautiful Days Festival, a major event in the UK, and we'll be moderating panels there with Low-Key, Craig Murray, David Miller. It's going to be a great lineup, and we'll be there in Exeter this weekend for that event. So we may not have the ability to broadcast from the fields of England, but we will do our best. Possibly do a pre-recorded show. If not, we will be off of this Sunday. So just a heads up for everybody who's following us there. That's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, we appreciate your support. We are an independent media outlet. We can only be here with your support. Your donations and subscriptions are what keeps this media platform going. So we need your help now more than ever. Do consider supporting us. Go to 21st Century Wire, upper left-hand button, the gold button, donate here. Lots of options. Obviously, subscribe to 21wire.tv. That's the best monthly. But if you want to donate, give us a spot donation or throw some crypto in the donation jar. We appreciate it. That's all we've got time for. Take care, everybody. We will catch you on the other side, perhaps next week. But take care. All the best.